Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dancing with Damage. I'm Ian, your resident philosopher.
And I'm Abby, your resident author.
And today, in episode 49, do you want to talk about marriage? We sure do.
That's good.
That's good, eh? I did a little tie-in there. So you may recall, Abby, in our last episode, we discussed the virtues under the philosophy of the social blueprint between living alone as an adult or living in a partnership as an adult. And today we're going to talk about, by the way, spoilers, we concluded. What did we conclude?
We concluded that to have a very full experience and love, mostly relating to the codependency wing of love, that it is very beneficial to have a significant other in your life.
That's right. We established the gold medal for a human in terms of having the best relationships possible was, in fact, to have someone you lived with as an adult. No more hints. You have to go see the episode if you don't know why that is. And today, let's dive, so if that's the gold medal, let's dive into the different kinds of living together relationships adults can have. They can be common law, they can be married, they can be
in a committed long-term relationship that hasn't quite met common law.
That's right.
Dating.
That's right. I've heard the word situationship. I don't know if that counts, but I heard it the other day.
That's true. Literally 2 days ago, someone said it to Ian and he went, he did not know what that meant. To be totally honest, I don't know what it means. I think it means you're not dating, but you're sort of seeing them more than just a casual one-time date. I think you're sort of almost dating. I don't know. Maybe in the comments you can explain to us what that is, because we're not sure.
Okay, but Abby's right. There's something approaching common law, and marriage. Now, Abby, marriage is an easy one to define. We kind of know what that is. For people who have a sense of what common law relationships are in Canada, but don't know, again, I looked this up. You would think lawyer would know what common law is. Didn't know. Wasn't sure. Now I'm more sure. Apparently it's any period of 12 months where you hold yourself out as a couple. Living together is a big aspect of it. And if you have a child together and you're holding yourself out as a couple, you often don't have to meet that 12-month threshold.
If you would have asked me before 1 minute ago how long you had to be living with someone in a romantic style relationship to be qualified as common law, I thought it was 3 to 5 years. Truly, I thought it took longer because...
Uno year.
Oh.
She didn't know what I was doing.
No, because, you know, it's a good thing there's the romantic aspect, because it would be so awkward if after a year you were automatically common law with your roommate. You wouldn't want that.
Yeah, you really have to be kind of doing that. A marriage-like union. Anyway, so that's what that is. Now, in terms of what is best. What is best? So, Abby, let me ask you, what do you think the benefits of, let's start with a marriage versus a common law is in your mind now that we've established the difference?
I don't understand. And I also work in law. Not as a lawyer, but I also have a legal background. I don't understand how one becomes common law. I understand you meet the threshold at a certain point, but I don't know if you have to fill out paperwork. I don't know if it's automatically done on your behalf. I don't know if, let's say you separated. Let's say you lived together for 2 years in a common law style relationship and you broke up. See, in a marriage, you have a definitive contract. There's a union that you report to the government and you are married. So if you separate, it is called a divorce. And there are certain steps and protections outlined to make sure that both people have responsibilities. If you have no prenup or postnup or agreement between the couple, then generally things are split evenly to protect both parties so they can continue living on their own. And sometimes that's fair and sometimes that's really not fair. But you know going into a marriage that that is the expectation. For common law, I truly don't know if you broke up after 2 years and let's say one person was the stay-at-home partner and the other person was working full-time and that was the understanding. If you split up, I don't know what the protocol is or what protections there are. Let's say the stay-at-home person gave up their job because their partner asked them to. And let's say that they would like some financial compensation as you would in a divorce. I don't know what processes they would go through or what protections they would have or how they would go about ensuring some equity or fairness.
Well, let's talk a bit about that. So, for example, in Canada, you can claim a common law partner on your tax returns, I believe. I have not done it.
We're married.
That is my belief.
Yeah.
And some key differences in terms of the protections or the consequences after the dissolution of common law versus marriage. For example, a big one is the matrimonial home. In a marriage, there is an assumption that the matrimonial home belongs equally to both partners. In a common law relationship, you would have to prove sort of a constructive trust. So usually the person whose name it's in would just keep it, is my understanding. Again, not a family lawyer. That's what I think. And another one is, for example, a will. Automatically, if we're married, as you and I are married, if I were to expire, but as such,
I don't like this topic of conversation.
you would automatically be the beneficiary of my things, even if I didn't have a will. It would just go to you. And that is not true of common law. Property division, same sort of thing as the matrimonial home. In common law, generally, if you brought it into the marriage, you're leaving with it after the marriage. Now, for children and spousal support, I think it acts more like marriage.
Okay, that's positive.
In terms of calculating that. So with those parameters in place, Abby, do you think there is a benefit to marriage? I mean, we can break it down pretty simply. Common law relationships, they are easier to get out of, really. There's less entanglement of assets, it seems. Also easier to get into. You don't need to, typically people will spend a lot on marriage. So what do you think? What's your first impressions on marriage versus common law, which is perhaps better?
This is a personal opinion. I prefer marriage myself. I think, I know that there's a lot of opinions about different religions and having a marriage or a wedding, you know, going through the ceremony, whether you want to elope or do something small at a courthouse or have a grand affair. Whatever you choose to do.
Oh, an affair. That's not very good for a relationship.
That's not funny. You know what I mean? Like a party.
Oh.
Like a grand affair. That's a thing. That's a thing people say.
Party.
Yeah, okay.
I get it.
But I feel that marriage is both parties committing. You're not just dating and you've been dating for so long and then you can just one day walk away and leave. I feel that a common law relationship is akin to just dating forever. And it is an option, but I feel like I wouldn't want to call you my boyfriend when I'm 72, you know? I like that you're my husband. I like the title change. I like the responsibility it gives. I like the permanency of it. And I like that when you propose to someone and you accept a marriage, and it can be something as simple as filling out paperwork in the courthouse. There's no expectation that it has to be a grand affair. It can cost like, what is it, like $100 to get a marriage license? Something like that. But I do like that there is a moment where both people in the relationship are saying, I am committing to you. You are my person. We're not just seeing each other. This isn't casual. We are now one unit. This is my path. This is my decision. There is no one else. Whereas I find that any other type of relationship, in my opinion, is very fleeting. Like if you're going to be with someone for the rest of your life, why not make the distinction between the two of you that, oh my gosh, what is that thing?
A moth flew into our lives and now it has taken over. It will not hurt you, Abby.
I've not seen a bug in 8 months.
It will not hurt you.
It's this big and it flew in my face.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. So I think that I would just rather have the permanency where both parties are saying I am committed, because I have seen so many times where there are two people in a relationship, often the woman out of the two parties ends up being the one who thinks this is permanent, I'm committed, this is amazing, but the man hasn't married them. And then all of a sudden he meets somebody else or he leaves or he says, oh, I'll marry you eventually, I'll propose eventually. And then they never do. And then often, if you do want children, it A, makes it more complicated when you're not married, in my opinion, to have children, but B, I've met a lot of women who wanted children and were waiting for that proposal, wasted 5-10 years of their life, and then they broke up. So I feel like when you choose the person, that's the commitment. That's what you want. If this is your person forever, then you both commit to being that person forever. Yeah.
I think the difference between common law and marriage reminds me of what Abby and I were doing a couple days ago. We were putting up a map on a board.
Yeah.
And it was just this laminated map, and it was going up on a board. It was cork board with a bit of wood behind the cork. So we had two options. We had some thumbtacks and we had some nails. And we could have put the map up with thumbtacks and it would have held just fine. It would have also been pretty easy to take out the thumbtacks and swap out the map if we needed to. What we did though, just in case there was a big wind or something like that, we took a hammer and nails and we actually nailed the map right into the wood behind the cork. And so if we wanted to take out those nails, we'd have to get a hammer or get a crowbar, and like there would be some like demolition happening. This is not just like, boop. This would be like grunting, splinters, swearing kind of thing.
Breaking stuff.
And so that reminds us of the true difference between what Abby's describing as common law and marriage. Now, I won't go into the social blueprint yet. Let me play devil's advocate. Maybe you out there are thinking, well, Ian and Abby, you said in the last episode the most important thing was to live together under the same roof, and that was the best thing, the gold medal in relationships. And with common law, we have just an easier way to break it off if needs be. Really, it's a bit cleaner. It's less litigious often. And you know, you said that the worst thing that you could have is a couple where the two people are damaged and causing each other misery. So isn't common law the best of both worlds, where you get that potential for that partner, but if it's a damaged relationship, it's easier to exit than that nail that represents marriage into the wood. So what would you say to that?
I would say I would rather invest the time to try to determine a level of damage objectively, because spending years of your life in a damaged relationship harms you. It can exacerbate your damage. And I feel that it's better to not have a relationship than a damaged relationship, as we established with the silver bronze hierarchy. And I think it would be better to just not be in any kind of committed relationship if it's a very damaged relationship, and instead at the beginning of the relationship, some people say 6 weeks, some people say 3 months, but there's always a set amount of time where after that, someone's true colors really show. You can't hide who you are forever. So within a year, you should be able to get a sense of somebody. And if you're willing to be honest with yourself and look critically, you should be able to see those red flags and walk away if need be.
I think in the next episode, we will talk about the hallmarks of a damaged partner. I would say entering into a damaged relationship is such an excellent example of how damage can control our lives. But I'll let that slide for now. It's like a buffet item. I'm just going to walk by it for now. I may come back later once I've finished.
Nibble.
I might have a little, like once you've had your salad, then you come back. Oh, that's a nice roast beast. Beast. That's what my mom calls it, a roast beast.
That's so cute.
So I call it roast beast. And I don't know if I think she coined that term because maybe it wasn't always beef we were having. It might have been like a pork shoulder or something. And she's like, it's a roast beast. It's a beast. And then we roasted it. What do you want from me?
It's really cute.
Yeah, she's
adorable.
She's pretty funny. So, yes, I hear what you're saying, Abby. Now, what I will say is this. I will give you a metaphor. So let us say you had a fence. Okay? And there was something bad on the other side of the fence. So the fence is to keep people out of that negative thing. And in our scenario, the negative thing is abandoning a good partner, let's say. Okay? Because in a marriage, you can have someone who is a strong partner, and we want people in our lives who are partners living under the same roofs as us because we know that's the gold standard. We want them to be as undamaged as possible. That's the second, that's the other side of the gold medal. If you don't have that side, you just have
It's tarnished.
you just have a chocolate coin, right? It looks golden on the surface, but it's chocolate inside.
That's a great metaphor, but I kind of would rather have
I
chocolate.
was like, I will take the chocolate over the gold, please.
Can you be good and also chocolate?
What
please?
if you take the gold, the real gold, and sell it, and then you can buy many golden chocolate cookies, coins?
I accept.
Okay. She's going to sell our marriage for chocolate. But I knew that. I knew it was going to happen at some point.
No, I'm going to keep you and the chocolate. I get all of it. I would take you over chocolate. That's saying something.
That is saying something. So here's how the social blueprint would interpret marriages. So what Abby's saying is quite right. If you spend a quantity of time and assess that you have a good partner, then we see that marriage is going to be the superior form of relationship, because if you had a fence and you had something negative on the other side of the fence, and that negative thing in our scenario is abandoning a good partner because the road gets rough, as the road in life will sometimes do. There may be temptation, there may be stress, there may be, the familiarity may wear on people.
And also, people grow and change as partners, right? I mean, I can say with great certainty, and I'm happy about this fact, the person I am today is vastly different than the person I was when I was 23 and I met Ian. I'm very different. And I think you've grown as a person too. And sometimes when you grow, Ian, would you say that when two people grow over, we've been together almost 10 years, how do you think that impacts the relationship when both people are maturing?
Well, it always comes back to, is the relationship a healthy one or a damaged one? If it's damaged, then the changes that the partners go through becomes a negative thing. And one person or both may say, well, I want something different, or you've changed from the way you were when I married you. This wasn't the deal, sort of thing. And the way we know that that's a damaged way of looking at it is because every human will undergo changes, especially physically, but also in their personality as they move from their 20s to their 30s to the 40s. It's just inevitable. So to claim, unless the change is unreasonable or abusive or whatever, to claim that any change is a departure from the contract of marriage and to abandon the marriage because of it is a damaged practice.
I like that answer. That was a good answer.
Sweet.
Sweet.
So let's assume for a second a healthy relationship. Let's take our relationship. Let's assume it's healthy
Sweet.
for the purposes of this.
I think it is. Or else, why are we making this video?
That's it. That proves it. If you make a YouTube video with your partner, it proves that it is a healthy relationship.
Well, you know what I mean. That's our whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy if we were damaged. We're going to talk about damaged relationships in the next video, and you can decide if Abby and I fit the bill. So let's assume for a second a healthy relationship. And let's assume that that nail that keeps that map of marriage fixed to the board is, you could also think of it like a fence. I'm going back to the fence. I was at the fence, I left the fence, I'm back at the fence.
So you're saying you're on the fence?
Oh no, now I'm on the fence. And one fence that has something dangerous on the other side is just a wire fence. And another fence has a sign that says electric, high voltage, electric fence, do not touch, do not cross. Okay?
A lot of warnings.
This is a big sign. And the fence without any signs or electric voltage on it is like a common law relationship. So if you wanted to scale that fence, it'd take a little effort, but not too much effort. The other one, the electric fence, is like marriage. And if you want to scale it to get to single C, who knows what word I'm trying to find, not singularity. What, is there a word?
Singlehood?
Singlehood. Thank you, Abby.
I'm not sure that's a word. I'm just guessing.
It's better than single C.
It sounds like something you get accused of having by your doctor. I'm sorry, Mr. Bingham, but you have single C.
Single
Here
C.
is your prescription. Take it for 3 weeks and come back for blood work.
Yikes.
You know?
Yeah, you don't want single C. So that's like the marriage fence. You could probably climb it, but you need like a bit of a plan. You need like a carpet to throw over it so you're not touching the wire, or you need like a ladder, or you need to go switch off the electricity first. And so in that sense, the social blueprint actually supports marriage, because whereas we want relationships to last, and whereas marriage is kind of a deterrent because it's so arduous comparatively to other forms of relationships to end, the social blueprint does prefer that. And actually, we have a chapter in the social blueprint that talks about making damaged behavior more difficult to achieve. I think it is the snake and the boot.
It's
Yes.
definitely one of the ones with that snake guy. There's a bunch with the guy who is fighting off snakes. I think the Bible did it too, where the snake was the bad guy. And we're like, the snake is the bad guy.
That's right. Chapter 36, the snake and the boot. So that fable is about a farmer who had immunity to many serpent venoms, still wears a snake boot out in the field.
Smart.
And then a big old cobra bites him in the field, and he didn't actually have immunity to that kind of cobra, but the boot protected him.
Where is he living where there are all these snakes? Is it Australia?
Well, cobra's more Africa.
I was thinking that, but I don't know a place where there are that many kinds of snakes that you have to be immune to. You know, there are many countries where it's like, beware the snakes.
I'm scared of snakes. So obviously that was going to be the villain in many of our stories. And snakes don't kill that many people in real life. Although apparently a big area of mortality for snake bite is Africa, certain parts of Africa where there's not a lot of antivenom and treatment, and people walking around with bare feet.
They do?
Yes.
With snakes?
It's with snakes. A lot of relatively poor areas in Africa that don't have access to medicine, and they might be flipping over rocks or walking around with bare feet. They get bit, and that's where they might have deaths. But in developed countries, it's pretty rare to be killed by a snake. So don't be hating on snakes. They play a role in the food chain. But in the fable, they play the role as evil henchmen of
Darkness.
of my story, of the story. So in the social blueprint, what I'm getting at is the more barriers to a damaged activity, the better. It's just another weapon for the angel in our minds, the angel of healthy behavior, to wield against you could call it the devil on your shoulder, or the damaged, selfish behavior that's also present in the human spirit. And so marriage is a bigger weapon, a sharper blade than common law.
This kind of sounds like a TV show I want to watch.
Yeah, she's fully like turned to face me. I don't know. There's no plot.
I mean, you're describing weapons. There's good versus evil. There's a struggle. I'm waiting for the magic system to be explained. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, you can tell she's facing me now. She's not facing you. She has lost interest in you.
I'm also kind of scanning for that moth. I know it's going to come back with a vengeance. Its body looked too big to be a moth. There was something going on with that moth. It had some dark purpose. I think it's a snake, a flying snake, secretly. It's in league with the snakes.
I think, yes, it's in league with something. So, but in this day and age, in this damaged generation, the weapon of marriage, if it's in the hands of the devil on our shoulder, if it's in the hands of a damaged person, then it becomes all the worse.
Yes, I can think of more than one person, more than 5 people that we know personally who have or are going through a very messy divorce. And for many of those people, it is not their first messy divorce. And it's very sad because there is a trend you can see, not always, but you can see with damaged individuals where they can be extremely nice, extremely kind, really good to their kids, but their poison is damaged relationships. And often they have a string of marriages that end terribly and often lead to their financial ruin and make it very hard for them to maintain adequate custody of their children due to all of these divorces.
So what this all boils down to, Abby, is I would say, and tell me if you agree, that the social blueprint finds that marriage is superior in terms of being a more healthy expression between people than common law. Not by much. I think we've already sorted out that the gold medal is to live with someone, but marriage is a nice, shiny, really shiny gold medal. Super reflective. Maybe it's got a little jewel in it. I do like a good jewel.
We like jewels.
Oh, the jewel could be the wedding ring.
Oh, that's so perfect and actually so cute. I love that. Yeah, I agree with you.
We're gonna melt your ring into a medal.
All right, it'll be a really small medal.
A little coin.
A little tiny coin that we'll lose immediately.
But until damage is addressed, it doesn't really matter. That's what we're driving at, is that marriage is a powerful weapon, but right now it might as well just stay on the table or in the vault until damage can be addressed. So right now in this generation, if you're thinking common law marriage, probably for you and for us and for everyone, until the theory of damage is better understood, there's going to be equal misery either way. And in fact, perhaps greater misery if people get married who are not supposed to.
But the potential for greater happiness if you're with a person who is right for you and you both have adequate health, which is the opposite of damage. Even if you have chosen common law, there is a great potential for happiness there. So I guess damage is bad.
Yeah, what this comes down to is, So to answer the question, do you?
We do.
We do, but
Do you?
do you? So that was us chasing our own tails. Anyway, check us in.
Check us out and check in with us. And the moth.
Honestly, either would have been fine.
If you don't hear from us again, the moth got us.
Unless you are running a hotel chain and we are visiting as guests, then you can check us in.
Oh my gosh. Or if you happen to visit our hotel, check in with us.
There you go. That makes sense. That's what I meant.
This whole time.
All right. Thanks for tuning in with us. Check in next time for how to tell if you're dating someone damaged.
Have a great day.